visit with our friend, the head coach of Texas Women's Golf, the Big 12 Conference champions. That's Ryan Murphy, who joins us on the line. Murph, thanks for the time. How are you today?
I'm good, Craig. Thanks for having me.
You bet. I'm really curious. A couple of questions I've got for you on this, but first of all, the play, of course, for your group begins at the NCAA Regional on Monday and runs through Wednesday at the Albuquerque Regional, and you're trying to get to the championship for the 6th straight season, the 30th time in program history, and you're coming off a year that saw your program go to the match play quarterfinals at the 2021 championships. You finished in stroke play in first place back in 2019. So this has been going for a while. How much of this is a Longhorn expectation of excellence that your group has going to the golf course, going to the range, going to the practice tee day after day, grinding and getting ready for each tournament throughout the course of the season?
Well, quite a bit. Expectation is a good word. I think it is just that. We've had a lot of success over the last several years, and so much so that it's kind of become expected within our program. So I'm pleased. Obviously I'm pleased with what we've done over the past few years. And although this season wasn't exactly what we wanted, from start to finish, I'm happy to have won the conference championship and happy to obviously be in the Albuquerque Regional coming up this next week.
All right, I want to ask you about a couple of your leading players, and then I want to get to some other questions about Albuquerque. First of all, coaches say that seniors kind of set the tone, set the bar, and for Sarah Kuskova, I would imagine that falls for her being a Big 12 all-tournament performer.
No question. The team affectionately refers to her as the team mom. And she's very much that. She looks after the younger players, and then she also leads by example. She has tremendous work ethic. In American, she's been a collegiate winner, and she leads in a lot of different ways. And we're happy to have her, and going to be sad to lose her.
You and I have talked about this. I remember we had a conversation about this during the pandemic when we were doing Zooms, lots of Zooms. And I remember you talking about the importance of international student athletes and what they mean not only to a collegiate golf team or a collegiate athletic program, but to their own individual athletic and academic growth. And with her being the Czech Republic's number one golfer and having been on the Czech national team over the last 9 years, you just get a different kind of vibe and feel from international players who then meld in nicely with the homegrown and the national players, don't you? No
question. It adds a nice dimension to your team for sure. And I've had international players from around the world in my career, and I remember us having that conversation. And in the game of golf, great players come from every corner of the world now, and including the Czech Republic. And I'm thinking back to when we won in 2012 on the men's side. 3 of those 5 players were international, with Dylan Fratelli, Tony Hocula, and Julio Vegas. And then obviously we had Jordan and Cody from Texas. But in golf, you're going to see a lot of teams in college that are at least half and half, if not more so international.
All right, now here's another young lady. Speaking of international players, I've been meaning to ask you about her for a while because I knew something quite a bit about her when she was in high school, and that's your freshman, Boyan Park, who has 3 top 5 finishes, 3rd place showing at the Windy City Collegiate Classic, 2nd place showing at the Darius Rucker Intercollegiate, 3rd place tie at the Big 12 Championship, and she had the opportunity to play at the LPGA Chevron Championship as an amateur, and although she didn't make the cut, she was tied for 2nd among the amateur competitors, and I've kind of followed what she's done ever since she was in the high school level, and she's just an interesting and an amazing story, isn't she?
She is. She's tremendous talent for sure. And with Bo and with a lot of great young players, when they arrive, they have the skill set to to have these great performances. And the key is, can you do it over and over and over? And can you do certain things to create that consistency? And that's really all we've been trying to do with Bo through the season, is just get her to play at a high level consistently. And she does have a unique background, obviously born in South Korea, spent some time in New Zealand. That's where she really picked up the game. She had the same instructor in New Zealand as Lydia Ko. And there for a period of time, they were calling Bo Little Lydia. They were there in New Zealand because there were so many similarities between the two. And then it's funny, Craig, she played at the Chevron here a few weeks ago, as you mentioned, out in Southern California, and I had caddied for her in that event. And Lydia Ko's hitting golf balls right behind Bo. And they haven't seen each other in, it's got to be 10 years or something like that. And so Bo was kind of shy, didn't want to say anything. And I just went up to Lydia and I said, "Hey, can I get a picture with you and Bo?" And we got this great picture on the range of the two, and they had just a brief exchange. It was really cool. I mean, comes full circle about 10 years later from the first time they had met. Just incredible.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it didn't stop there. Obviously, she came to the States, lived in Dallas area, Farmers Branch, and then has arrived here at Texas, obviously.
That's where I was made aware of her when she was playing out at Hackberry Creek. It was something else to see what she was doing over there, visiting with Ryan Murphy, Texas women's golf coach. All right, Murph, our producer, Snoop Daniel, has a little bit of a connection with another one of your outstanding golfers, and so he's got a question.
Yeah,
Snoop?
Coach Murphy, we cover Bentley Cotton pretty heavily at Westlake, at Flex, and we know that she's so proud to wear that burnt orange, and she's been coming on of late. And can you tell us a little bit about, I guess, her progression this year?
She has been coming on, and she's had some great finishes for us. And just like Bo, like I had mentioned, like any young player, it's all about consistency, and that's what we're after with Bentley. But she has definitely showed what she's capable of in different events. She's had some great finishes, and she is a tremendous ball striker. If I was to kind of categorize her game, I would say she's a tremendous ball striker, good chipper and pitcher of the ball, and putting is sometimes good, and then sometimes it's not there. And that's kind of maybe the one area that's held her back. But I like where she's going right now. I think she's starting to believe and fully understand how good she is at the game. She's incredibly talented. And the sky's the limit for Bentley Cotton, really. And I think the best is yet to come for sure in her college career.
Visiting with Ryan Murphy, Texas women's golf coach. Okay, the Longhorns are going to be playing in Albuquerque. Now, we've buried the lead long enough. This is where we've got to get to. For folks who don't know, Coach Murphy's going to be back where it all started. He was a 4-year letter winner at New Mexico from 94 to 97. Undercurrent Texas men's head coach John Fields. He twice earned academic All-America honors for his performance in the classroom. He had a career stroke average of just barely over 75, played in the NCAA championships in each of his 4 seasons, a member of New Mexico's WAC championship team in 96, helped lead the Lobos to a 6th-place tie in the 96 NCAA championships, their best finish since 1979. He had his best career finish as an individual, a tie for 6th in the 95 WAC championship. He was an assistant golf coach at New Mexico from 01 to 05. Now, in addition to that, I found out you grew up in Lovington. I've been through there a few times, down in the southeast corner of the state as well. And you, while working on your master's degree in sport management from UNM, that's where you was the GA in the Lobos athletic department. You worked with Fran Fischello, who's the head basketball coach there in academic services. So this is kind of going home for you, isn't it?
No question. I was ecstatic when they announced that we're going to Albuquerque. It's been a while since I've been back there, but yeah, I'm going back home for sure. Grew up in New Mexico, spent my college years there, and then was the assistant on the men's side from 2001 to 2005. And so, yeah, I spent 10 years of my life in Albuquerque.
So what have you told your group about the golf course?
The first thing is that it's at elevation. It's 5,000 feet, and that golf ball goes much further there. So I've started planning, the different carry numbers in their head that they'll see there. And then I've mentioned just little things about the golf course. It's big, undulating greens there in Albuquerque, and hitting your iron shots to the correct segments of the greens is key. And then simply being able to putt your golf ball there is really key. So those are kind of the important aspects to the golf course.
Well, and the other thing with regard to familiarity is the other teams in that regional bring a real air of familiarity, teams that you know really well and have had to go up against even pretty recently to compete against.
Yeah, we've got Oregon at our site. We've got Florida. We've got Arizona. All teams that we've seen and all good teams. So, like anybody in the regional, you got to play well to advance, and that's our goal.
Well, Murph, I appreciate you taking the time to do this, and we wish you the best of luck out in Albuquerque and look forward to seeing your group advance to the championships, and then we'll visit again prior to that if that works out for you. But I appreciate you doing this today.
Thanks, Craig. I appreciate you. Thanks, Craig.